How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys for stopping in today. We've got one topic to cover that it still files in with the NFL draft. I've covered this on the site, but I feel like it needs to be kind of dove into deeper for those who are auditorial learners. Rather than visual and like reading all that. So this is a big topic. So as of today, still as of the first of the month of June, there remains to be 30 unsigned drafted players in the second round, which is crazy, right? Second round picks typically are the next to go off the board, or so would some would think, right? After the first round picks, they get their fully guaranteed contracts and they are signed, right? Josh Simmons signed a fully guaranteed contract fairly soon following the conclusion of the 2025 NFL draft. And every other draftee has signed except for the second round pick for the Chiefs, which is Omarr Norman-Lott. While Norman-Lott was drafted near the back end of the second round, there's still a reason for why 30 or more haven't or no, just 30, not 30 or more, just 30 players haven't signed yet, right? And it's because of the first two players that were taken in the second round of the draft process. Carson Schlesinger, he got taken as the first overall pick in the second round by the Cleveland Browns, and then Jaden Higgins, I apologize. Jaden Higgins shortly signed after, and those two players have a fully guaranteed clause to their rookie contract, which is just explaining how the first round guaranteed deal is starting to bleed into the second round, right? There's a lot of talent that the National Football League scouts, so much so that franchises tell these prospects, hey, we think of you as a top end guy. We want to treat you as that. For Schlesinger and Higgins, they became pick number 33 and 34 overall. Just past the top 30, just missing out on the first round. They have become the two guys only fully guaranteed, which brings us to why Omarr Norman-Lott has yet to sign with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's because there are from 3 all the way down to 32 of the remaining draft picks from the second round, none of them have signed. And it's because if there's the precedent knowing that the first 2 picks are able to get their fully guaranteed contracts in the second round, when does that train stop, right? How much longer can agents and players hold out before getting a deal done that's close to close to fully guaranteed or not guaranteed? And when does it start to trickle down, right? There's not a line that has been set. And that's why Omarr Norman-Lott has yet to put pen to paper. It's just a trend, right? So now you're trying to think of, well, who's going to stop the trend, right? The third, fourth, fifth, sixth overall pick in the second round. Are they going to get fully guaranteed? And if they do, how long does that continue on? Now, Omarr Norman-Lott, like I said, was drafted near the latter half of the second round. I don't personally see that falling all the way down to the position that Omarr Norman-Lott got taken. While Norman-Lott's already in a very not obscure, but he's in a interesting situation, right? When he got drafted in the second round, he had a projection of maybe the third or fourth round, right? But he ended up Kansas City ended up sticking with their guns in choosing Omarr Norman-Lott to help solidify the defensive line. He's got this presence on the line to where the Chiefs felt like it wasn't good enough to pass up, or he was too good to pass up. In 2024, he had 27 pressures on 139 pass rush snaps. I've noted in the past before that he's got big hands to block the vision for when he is on the defensive line for going after the offensive contributors. He has shown the ability and excitement to be in Kansas City as much as anyone would, right? As anyone in the National Football League. It doesn't even have to just be with Kansas City. It's the excitement that they have going throughout, that they are finally living out their dream as a professional football player. But now it's become to a point where even Ashton Gelati, he was drafted by the Chiefs very early on in the third round, and he signed. It's the Chiefs have prioritized it, making it Omarr Norman-Lott. He's the last guy to be signed, right? There's been undrafted free agents who have signed their contracts. He is one of the big names that still remains to be contractless. Now, obviously, they're going to get a deal done. It's just a conversation that has to be had because, as Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk mentioned, this is a trend that will only continue as it goes on into the future. Whether or not that the first two picks get fully guaranteed in this season, next season for the 2026 draft, there's going to be an expectation if it does stop with the first two picks in the second round that the 2026 second rounders are going to want a fully guaranteed contract because they saw that Schlesinger and Higgins did. It's almost like not everyone can be a fully guaranteed player, right? It just hasn't been that type of regime in the National Football League. And it also then decreases the value of being a first overall pick, in my opinion. While I believe that all of these players are so deserving of the contracts that they are given, there has to be held that standard, right? That's how I believe it. I do see Omarr Norman-Lott getting signed relatively soon. Obviously, there comes a point where they're going to meet agreement because Omar is going to want to get back up on the playing field for the Kansas City Chiefs. In other news, another OTA session will commence today, June 2nd, going through the next couple of days, just to, this exciting time to keep up with Chiefs football as we get closer and closer to the 2025 season. I hope that made sense for everybody on why this is happening, right? It will be intriguing to see when they come to that contract agreement, not even if it's just Omarr, the rest of the 29 others of this in the second round who remain unsigned. Compared to the other rounds, it is outlandish. It has a lot of talented players that are waiting to put pen to paper and make their deal official. That is just kind of the explanation of why, if you're curious, like of how many people of the draft or draftees that the Chiefs have signed, they've signed 6 of them through the draft process. Omarr Norman-Lott and his agent, they're just waiting. I would predict that if the middle round guys in the second round, they start to sign contracts that might not be fully guaranteed, you're going to see a lot more second round draft picks sign right away because they now know it's like, oh, that's the cutoff. That guy went before me. I have to start getting my contract now because that's the expectation now. But I do see this as a continuing topic that could be not only throughout the rest of this offseason, but also carrying into next season. That being said, guys, you guys know the deal. Thank you guys so much for stopping in. I will flash up the bottom right now, as you can see on the ticker. You can follow me on X at Dom Minchella. I post and repost every single day. You can also follow us at KC Chiefs on SI on X, where all of our stories gets posted as we continue to cover the 2025 offseason together. Can't wait to continue it. You guys know the deal. I'll see you tomorrow. Be kind to one another. Have a good one.